Tiffany was throwing her birthday party at the Platinum Grand Hotel, the most opulent five-star establishment in town, my town, technically. Ironically, despite being roommates, she hadn't extended an invitation to me, Olivia. To add insult to injury, she planned to make her relationship with my boyfriend official at the party. The class group chat was buzzing with excitement, a symphony of compliments orchestrated for Tiffany. Even back in our dorm, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation. Wow, the Platinum Grand. A five-star hotel. I've never even dreamed of going to a place that fancy, gushed one classmate. Thanks to Tiffany, we get to experience such luxury, another chimed in. Seriously, living the high life for a night. Tiffany's family must be seriously loaded. Tiffany, basking in the attention, casually remarked, "Oh, it's nothing. I've been going to places like this with my dad since I was little. You get used to it." Headphones on, I was trying to lose myself in a book, but the incessant chatter was a persistent drone. Finally, I snapped, "Could you guys keep it down a little? Some of us are trying to concentrate." The volume dipped slightly, but the undercurrent of spite remained. TSK, someone's clearly sour grapes, because Tiffany didn't invite her, someone sniped. Yeah, talk about bitter. Seriously, Olivia, have you even heard of the Platinum Grand before today? Heard of it? I knew the Platinum Grand intimately. It was part of the Golden Crest Group, my father's company. Actually, I said, matter-of-factly, my family owns it. Predictably, my statement was met with a wave of uproarious laughter. Tiffany's voice dripped with sarcasm. "Oh, really? And what do we get for laughing ourselves silly at your expense?" Sophia, ever the loyal follower, chimed in, "Well, if we laugh hard enough, maybe she'll stop being so sour." Ha 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 ha. The laughter echoed around the room. I couldn't help but smile inwardly. Throwing a birthday party in my hotel and accusing me of being bitter? The irony was delicious. Just then, my phone rang. It was my dad. "Sweetheart, your dad's got a gala at the Platinum Grand on Saturday. Want to come?" "I'd love to, Dad." Even as I spoke, I felt several pairs of eyes swivel towards me. To avoid an audience, I stepped out onto the small balcony. "Great. You can bring friends too, you know. How many invitation cards do you need?" "I'll have them sent over. 3 should be fine. For my 2 best friends, and my boyfriend." "Oh, bringing the boyfriend along, are we? Good, good. I'll introduce him to some influential people. You said he's a bright young man, right?" "He is, Dad, very bright." When I returned to the room, Tiffany was radiating smugness. "If you wanted to come to my birthday party, you could have just asked. No need to eavesdrop and then make up stories outside. It's not embarrassing, you know." I blinked, momentarily speechless. Did she really think? It was almost too comical. They actually believed my wanting to go referred to her party. She'd been riding this wave of delusion for 2 years now. Perhaps this was the perfect opportunity for a reality check. Sophia, oblivious to the monumental misunderstanding, continued, "We're all classmates, dorm mates even. Maybe if you asked nicely, Tiffany might take pity on you and let you experience a taste of the high life." Tiffany, ever the gracious queen, began, "Well, it's not entirely impos." "Spare me," I interrupted, cutting her off. "Don't flatter yourselves. The only person embarrassing themselves here is you." Tiffany froze, her smile vanishing. When the words finally registered, her eyes narrowed into slits of pure venom. Sophia, ever the peacemaker, or instigator, depending on your perspective, quickly interjected, "Let's not waste our breath on her. Let her stew in her own jealousy." It all started freshman year. I'd absent-mindedly shared a Pinduoduo Chopadeal link for a friend. Tiffany, witnessing this, instantly branded me as poor. I couldn't be bothered to correct her perception. Back in high school, everyone knew my dad had donated a couple of buildings to the school. This unfortunately made me a target for some local thugs. They learned the hard way that messing with the benefactor's daughter wasn't a wise move. My dad, understandably concerned about a repeat performance in college, had given me a pre-departure lecture: "Keep a low profile, sweetheart. No need to flaunt our wealth unless absolutely necessary." So, if people wanted to believe I was struggling financially, fine by me. It was hardly the end of the world. But Tiffany's constant snide remarks and thinly veiled insults weren't really about my supposed poverty. The real source of her animosity, I suspected, stemmed from a humiliating incident during freshman orientation. Tiffany, in a grand romantic gesture, had presented flowers to a guy she liked. He politely declined her affections, only to turn around and use those same flowers to confess his feelings to me. I, naturally, politely declined him too. I didn't even know the guy. But Tiffany, in her warped reality, saw it differently. She, the generous benefactor who showered this guy with gifts, had been outdone by me, the poor girl who had somehow stolen her prize. She concocted elaborate narratives about how I'd deliberately seduced him, knowing full well she was interested. The drama was truly Oscar-worthy. Ever since then, she'd been meticulously cultivating her rich girl persona, using petty favors and social maneuvering to build her little court and ostracize me. I remained unfazed. Frankly, I couldn't be bothered with college cliques. What was the point? I had more important connections to cultivate, the countless uncles and aunties in my dad's network. University classmates? Most of them would be forgotten footnotes in a few years. Who cared? Now, here she was, escalating her petty war with passive-aggressive jabs in the class group chat. Some people are just sour grapes, someone's clearly green. With envy, hate those who are obsessed with wealth, but secretly resent the rich. All veiled, of course, but as subtle as a neon sign pointing directly at me. Subtle digs were one thing. But this public performance? My Buddha-like patience was wearing thin. There were limits, even to my tolerance. The dorm room air felt increasingly toxic. I decided a change of scenery was in order. I texted my boyfriend, Ethan, a charming senior who had gallantly helped me move in freshman year. Handsome, academically brilliant, and ambitious, Ethan was, or so I thought, everything I could ask for. Hey, handsome. Free Saturday night? I want to take you somewhere special. Just seeing his picture on my phone screen lifted my spirits. Saturday, actually, I'm booked up that evening. Sunday work? Really? What's happening Saturday? An interview? He hesitated, a flicker of something unreadable in his eyes. Yeah, something like that. You seem a bit evasive. I was actually going to invite you to meet my dad at. He abruptly cut me off. Olivia, I don't want to lie to you. Tiffany actually invited me to her birthday party. I kind of need to go. Sunday still good? My blood ran cold. Wait, what? Are you serious? You know how she treats me. Ethan was well aware of the animosity between Tiffany and me. I'd vented to him countless times. He always played the voice of reason, urging me to ignore her, to rise above the pettiness. Don't let her get to you, babe. It's beneath you. Don't waste your energy on people like that. It'll give you wrinkles. But this? This was his idea of rising above it? Look, babe, personal feelings and professional opportunities are two different things, he said, his tone shifting to a more businesslike register. A wave of anger washed over me. Don't call me babe. I'm not your babe. He rushed on, ignoring my outburst. Listen, I don't want to miss out on a chance to network, to connect with people in high society. Olivia, you have to understand. This is important for my future. I stared at him, a growing sense of disillusionment creeping in. The man I thought I knew, the one who had seemed so genuine and grounded, was morphing. You're talented, Ethan. You're smart. You can get into a great company on your own merit, I argued, my voice losing its edge, replaced by a weary resignation. You're young, Olivia. You don't get it yet. It's not just about getting in the door, it's about accelerating my climb to the top. I wanted to introduce you to my father. Maybe he could help. The words were out before I could stop them, a last-ditch attempt to salvage something, anything, from this increasingly surreal conversation. In that instant, I saw it, a flash of disdain in Ethan's eyes. He actually scoffed. He frowned, impatience etched on his face. Olivia, don't be naive. Tiffany mentioned her brother would be there. This is about my career, okay? Stop being childish. Childish. That was his verdict. My perfectly reasonable reaction to his blatant betrayal was childish. He still held my hand, his touch familiar, yet suddenly alien. The warmth was there, but the connection was gone. I had been about to tell him. About my dad. About Golden Crest. About everything. But now, the words caught in my throat. The desire to share, to trust, had vanished, replaced by a cold, hollow ache. I slowly withdrew my hand. Okay, Ethan. Go to your party. Network to your heart's content. Expand your connections. Don't let me hold you back. That evening, the family driver called. He'd arrived, bearing the invitation cards for Saturday's gala. I collected myself, putting on a brave face, and went with my best friend, Lily, to meet him. The driver was in our most inconspicuous Porsche, holding 3 black and gold invitation envelopes. Technically, I didn't need an invitation, I could usually just breeze in with a smile and a nod. As we turned the corner, Lily jabbed me sharply with her elbow. My breath hitched in my throat. Up ahead, strolling towards us, were Ethan and Tiffany, heads bent together. Laughing. Their hands brushed occasionally, a casual intimacy that screamed of something more brewing. The unspoken promise of a relationship about to become very, very spoken. And on Ethan's feet, my heart clenched. He was wearing the limited edition sneakers I'd given him for Valentine's Day. My gift. Defiled by being worn to meet her. Ethan's smile faltered as he saw me. I remembered telling him how much I loved his smile. His promise, only for you, Olivia. I'll only smile like this for you. Promises, apparently, were as disposable as cheap takeout containers. Something inside me crumbled. Having fun? I managed, my voice surprisingly steady. Olivia, hey, why don't you head back to the dorm? Tiffany and I are just discussing some details. Lily, bless her fiercely loyal heart, wasn't about to let this slide. Ethan, whose boyfriend are you, exactly? Wearing shoes Olivia bought you to hang out with another girl? Have you no shame? Tiffany, having enjoyed the spectacle, finally decided to weigh in, tilting her head with feigned innocence. Oh, you guys are misunderstanding. Olivia, Ethan is actually being so sweet. He's trying to convince me to invite you to my party too. He's trying to smooth things over for you. She waved a bubble tea in her hand, a smug smile playing on her lips. He even bought me a share tea. You should appreciate his good intentions. I stared at Ethan for a long, silent moment. The moment he'd frozen, 3 seconds ago, the moment he'd chosen silence over honesty, was the moment I'd truly given up on him. I had nothing left to say. Your party? I wouldn't be caught dead there. Spare me the theatrics. I grabbed Lily's arm and turned away. Ethan, who had never bought me anything more extravagant than a weekend coffee, had bought Tiffany share tea. It wasn't about the bubble tea, not really. It was about the principle. About the blatant disregard. I wasn't being overly sensitive. I knew that. But why, then, did my eyes suddenly sting with unshed tears? I tilted my chin up, forcing myself to breathe, to remember my own worth. He's not worth it, Olivia. None of this is worth it. I ripped the spare invitation in half, then crumpled it and tossed it into the nearest trash can. Then, I texted Ethan, my fingers trembling slightly, we're done. Late that night, Tiffany breezed back into the dorm, radiating smug satisfaction, just before curfew. Sophia, ever eager for gossip, pounced. So? How did it go with your god? Did you seal the deal? I remembered Tiffany's recent pronouncements, her casual mentions of dates with this mysterious god, walks in the park, deep conversations. Only now did the truth dawn on me, the god had always been Ethan. They'd been seeing each other for weeks, maybe months, and I'd been blissfully, idiotically, oblivious. Tiffany giggled, a self-satisfied sound. I don't know. I kissed him. He didn't exactly object. Is that sealed the deal enough for you? A wave of nausea washed over me. My phone vibrated. A text from Ethan. Olivia, sometimes you have to make sacrifices to achieve your goals. Followed by a pat-pat emoji. So, letting her kiss you was your sacrifice? I typed back, my fingers flying across the screen. He replied instantly. Yes. You're willing to debase yourself for connections, to grovel at Tiffany's feet for opportunities, and you expect me to understand, to cheer you on? Seriously? Do you think you're some kind of prize? Get over yourself. Silence. For a long, agonizing time, nothing. Then, a barrage of messages, all voice notes. Voice notes. Coward. Assuming it would be a pathetic attempt at reconciliation, I braced myself to listen. Instead. Olivia, I'm done with you. His voice, amplified through my phone speaker, was shrill with indignation. Can't you be more like Tiffany? Even though you two have issues, she's still mature enough to invite me to her party. She doesn't hold grudges. And honestly, if Tiffany is targeting you, maybe there's a reason, you know? Have you ever considered that maybe you're the problem? Tiffany says you're difficult, arrogant, and entitled. I didn't want to believe her, but now I see she's right. You're not a princess, Olivia. You just act like one. Fine, we're done. Whatever. Delete me on WeChat. Delete me on WeChat. The ultimate millennial breakup. Just don't come crawling back when you realize what you've lost. His final, pathetic pronouncement. A wave of grief washed over me, quickly followed by a surge of relief. And then, amusement. Relief that I'd seen his true colors before introducing him to my father. Amusement at his sheer audacity, his inflated ego. Regret? Did these two delusional fools really think I would regret losing them? I deleted his contact without a second thought. But letting it go? That wasn't quite in my nature. In our group chat, my two best friends were incandescent with rage. He was cheating on you before you even broke up with him. That's textbook 2 timing. I got pictures of those two lovebirds. Olivia, send me screenshots of your chat history. I'm going to expose them on the school forum. Let the whole campus see what kind of slimeballs they are. I took a deep breath, trying to quell the burning anger. No, not yet. Let's not stoop to their level. A slow smile spread across my face. They're having their little party at my hotel, remember? Tomorrow, I'm going to make sure Tiffany's high life comes crashing down around her ears. And Ethan? He'll soon realize what a colossal joke he's become. The dorm room hummed with party preparations. The endless debate about dresses, shoes, and hairstyles was grating on my nerves. I packed my things, ready to escape the suffocating atmosphere and go home. Exhausted, I called the driver to pick me up directly from the dorm. Tiffany, ever the drama queen, intercepted me as I was leaving. Oh, Olivia, going somewhere so late? Hotels can be so unsafe, you know. Buzz off, Tiffany, I snapped, not bothering to sugarcoat my reply. As I settled into the plush leather seats of our Maybach, a taunting message popped up from Tiffany. Looking good will get you everything, Olivia. Trust me, men are practical. They see beyond the surface. Oh, so you do acknowledge that I'm better looking than you? Progress. I retorted, my fingers flying across the keyboard. Tiffany, huh? Looks are fleeting. What else do you have? My brother owns a publicly listed company with close ties to Golden Crest. He can actually help Ethan's career. What can you offer Ethan besides a pretty face? Playing the mistress card now, are we? You're actually proud of that? Tiffany, call me what you want, mistress, homewrecker, whatever. Honey, this is the real world. It's a lot tougher than you think. You're right, Tiffany. You're absolutely right. I typed, a strange calm settling over me. Congratulations to you and your Prince Charming. May your toxic relationship last a lifetime. You deserve each other. Then, I took a screenshot of our entire chat history. If she wanted to flaunt, I'd make sure she got the spotlight she craved. And then some. Dad, I called out as I walked into our sprawling living room. Where are the keys to my Rolls-Royce? The ones you got me? Which drawer? I stopped short. Seated on the plush leather sofa, next to my dad, was a man I vaguely recognized from business magazines. Distinguished, impeccably dressed, with an air of quiet power. Alexander Ning. My dad's business partner, and Tiffany's brother? His gaze, cool and assessing, swept over me. Uncle Ning, I greeted him, quickly recovering my composure. He smiled, a genuine, warm smile that transformed his austere features. Olivia, good evening. My dad beamed. Finally, she's taking the rolls out of hibernation. Bottom drawer, sweetheart. Later that evening, I found myself unwinding in our rose garden, the scent of 1,000 blooms heavy in the night air. The moon hung like a silver disk in the inky sky. My phone buzzed with a message from Ethan. Just to be clear, Olivia, even though Tiffany's family is, well, you know, way more influential than yours, that's not the real reason we broke up. It's our fundamental incompatibility, our differing values. That's it. I, Ethan, am not some gold-digging opportunist. Just wanted to set the record straight. Don't bother replying. I actually laughed out loud. His motivations were utterly transparent, and frankly, irrelevant. In our friends group chat, my two confidants were still fuming. He's such a pathetic worm. Seriously, differing values? Give me a break. I used to think he was decent, ambitious. Now, I just want to hurl. I typed back, a mischievous glint in my eyes, let's just wait and see if he's really not a gold digger, shall we? A rustle of leaves behind me. I turned to see a figure emerging from the shadows. Tall, broad-shouldered, clad in tailored gray trousers. Alexander Ning. He stopped beside me, his voice deep and resonant. Who dared to upset our little princess? Tell Uncle Ning all about it. The next evening, I donned a custom-made spring couture gown, slung my Hermes bag over my shoulder, and descended to the garage. My chariot for the night, my father's gift, the pristine white Rolls-Royce. Destination, the Platinum Grand Gala. At the hotel ballroom entrance, I encountered Tiffany's entourage, the entire class, it seemed, eager to celebrate her birthday. Gasps rippled through the crowd as I stepped out of the Rolls. Surprise, yes, but mostly awe. My dad's stylist was worth every penny. Tiffany, in contrast, was a study in over-the-top gaudiness, heavy eye makeup, a sequined strapless dress that screamed desperate. Flashy, yes, but undeniably tacky. Her face flickered with surprise as she saw me, quickly morphing into a mask of forced cheerfulness. Well, look who decided to crash the party, she sneered, her voice laced with venom. Didn't get an invite, but still showed up, huh? Talk about shameless. Just then, Ethan materialized at her side, his eyes widening in shock as he registered my presence. Olivia? A new addition to his ensemble, a Cartier watch, glinting ostentatiously on his wrist. Remembering his not a gold digger pronouncements, he subtly tugged his sleeve down to conceal it. Tiffany, seizing the moment, linked her arm through his, tilting her chin up in a parody of regal disdain. Since you're here uninvited, let me introduce you. Everyone, this is my boyfriend, Ethan. Frankly, Tiffany, I couldn't care less about your situation, I said, my voice cool and even. And darling, do try to get your facts straight. This isn't your little birthday bash venue. I gestured around at the opulent ballroom, the uniformed staff, the hushed anticipation in the air. A girl nearby gasped. Wait, this is the Platinum Grand Gala. I saw it on the news once. It's supposed to be for VIPs, like, seriously important people. Olivia can't possibly be here for that, can she? Lily, ever the hype woman, chimed in, oh, yes, we are. We're here to enjoy ourselves. Who needs your tacky little party? With a dismissive flick of my wrist, I turned towards the entrance. Tiffany's voice, dripping with scorn, followed us. Please, as if they could actually get in. Just then, a hotel staff member, recognizing me, rushed forward, bowing deeply. Miss Chow, this way, please. No invitation necessary. I sailed past the velvet ropes, Lily and my other friend in tow, leaving Tiffany and her entourage gaping in our wake. Tiffany's smug smile faltered, then vanished, completely. She rallied quickly, attempting to bluff her way in. Actually, my brother was supposed to give me some invitations, but since I was hosting my own party, I told him not to bother. Let's go, Ethan, darling. She tugged at Ethan's arm, pulling him away from the entrance. But Ethan's gaze remained fixed on the ballroom, a mixture of envy and dawning comprehension in his eyes. Pathetic. Inside, Lily showed me the class group chat. The online chatter was a chaotic mix of disbelief and frantic speculation. OMG, Olivia actually got into the Platinum Grand Gala. That's, like, the event in the city. She's definitely not just somebody. Sophia, ever the loyal mouthpiece, chimed in, maybe she's working as a hostess? It's not uncommon for college students to do part-time jobs like that, right? A smarter classmate countered, but her dress, it looked like couture. And that bag, definitely Hermes. Tiffany jumped in, you can rent those things these days, you know. Sophia, ever the echo chamber, added, yeah, Tiffany has tons of couture dresses at home. Lily snorted in our group chat. Oh, really? If she has tons, why isn't she wearing one tonight? Silence descended on the class chat, broken only by a flurry of embarrassed emojis. Awkward silence. .jpg foot and mouth. .gif suddenly feeling very small. .png. Then, Tiffany herself weighed in, relax, everyone. I prefer to keep things low-key for my birthday. No need to dress like you're auditioning for a royal wedding, unlike some people. Lily nearly choked on her champagne. Low-key? Tiffany? Seriously? The girl who's practically got "I'm rich" tattooed on her forehead? I finally emerged from lurker mode, joining the online fray. Thanks for the compliment, Tiffany. Princess is definitely the vibe I was going for tonight. Someone actually typed, okay, gotta admit, Olivia does look stunning tonight. Baby steps. Slowly, ever so slowly, the scales were beginning to fall from their eyes. Just then, another text from Ethan. Olivia, are you seriously working as a hostess at the Platinum Grand Gala? Seriously? This guy had no self-awareness. No shame. And then, the piece de resistance, it's Tiffany's birthday tonight. Be professional, do your job, and don't cause any trouble for her. Don't cause any trouble for her. The gall of this man. I blocked his number without a second thought. His opinion, his existence, had become utterly irrelevant. Back in the class group chat, Sophia was desperately trying to change the subject. Guys, quick update. Tiffany's dad got her a car for her birthday. A car? Whoa. What kind? Someone asked, predictably. Sophia, milking the suspense, typed, it's a secret for now. Hint, it's white. OMG. I saw a brand new white Rolls-Royce parked outside earlier. Could it be? No way. Seriously? A Rolls-Royce for a birthday present? Tiffany's dad is insane. I even snapped a pic of it earlier, from a distance. Someone posted a blurry photo of a white Rolls-Royce. My white Rolls-Royce. Tiffany, is that your new car? The silence from Tiffany was deafening. Deafening, and telling. She wasn't denying it. She was letting them believe it. OMG, they actually think my car is Tiffany's birthday present, I typed to Lily, barely containing my laughter. Seriously. She's letting them run with it. The audacity. Lily was practically convulsing with mirth. Patience, my dear Lily. Patience. This is just the appetizer. The main course is yet to come. I selected a delicate pastry from a passing tray, savoring the sweet taste of anticipation. Just then, my eyes met Alexander Ning's across the room. He raised his glass of red wine, a silent toast, a knowing smile playing on his lips. Mature, sophisticated, devastatingly handsome, Alexander Ning was like a fine wine, intoxicating and complex. You seem much brighter tonight, he observed, his voice a low rumble. I grinned, a genuine, unrestrained smile. Indeed, Uncle Ning. My spirits are considerably lifted. The fools who were causing you distress earlier, were they the ones at the entrance? I nodded, a rueful smile touching my lips. Guilty as charged. He met my gaze, his eyes holding a surprising intensity. They are not worthy of you, Olivia. You deserve far, far better. Alexander Ning, the formidable business magnate, the man who moved markets with a phone call, was telling me that I deserved better. A strange warmth bloomed in my chest. A flutter of something. Well, Uncle Ning, I couldn't agree more. Later, as my dad stepped down from the stage after delivering a speech, I took his arm, accompanying him as he greeted his business associates. When we had a moment alone, he turned to me, a concerned frown creasing his brow. Olivia, weren't you going to introduce your young man to your father? My smile faltered, replaced by a shadow of sadness. Changed my mind, Dad. He's not worth meeting. He thinks I'm entitled, spoiled, and not connected enough. He broke up with me. My dad's face hardened, his eyes turning glacial. Spoiled? My little princess? That's rich. Oh, and he's now firmly entrenched in Tiffany's connected social circle. He actually applied for a job at Golden Crest headquarters recently. My dad's jaw tightened. He immediately summoned his assistant. Mr. Chen, he barked, his voice sharp and commanding. Get me HR. Both headquarters and regional offices. Tell them to flag a resume. Name, Ethan. Mr. Chen, ever efficient, nodded briskly. Understood, Chairman. And the instructions? Terminate his application, regardless of the stage. Ensure he is not hired by any Golden Crest subsidiary. And, my dad added, a dangerous glint in his eyes, put the word out to our partners. Let's just say, Mr. Ethan's career prospects in this city might be limited. Mr. Chen nodded again, a flicker of understanding in his eyes. Consider it done, Chairman. I leaned into my father's arm, a wave of gratitude washing over me. Thanks, Dad. Anyone who dares to mistreat my daughter will learn a very harsh lesson. We'll make sure Mr. Ethan becomes famous in a city. Very famous indeed. Dad, I chuckled, that's not quite how internet slang works. Meanwhile, in the class group chat, Tiffany's party was winding down, her sheep starting to disperse. Predictably, our paths crossed again on the hotel's panoramic viewing deck. Tiffany, chin held high, addressed me, her voice dripping with condescension. So, Olivia, how was your shift? Must have been exhausting, running around in those borrowed clothes. Borrowed? Oh, Tiffany, darling, you wound me, I said, feigning mock offense. She pressed on, oblivious to the gathering storm. Never been to a place like this before, have you? It's understandable, I suppose. We're all dorm mates, but, well, some of us are just more fortunate than others. Not that I'm judging you for not getting me a birthday present. Money's tight for some people, right? Isn't that right, everyone? Tiffany tossed a saccharine smile around the group, seeking validation. Her sycophants dutifully echoed her sentiments, nodding and murmuring agreement. Ethan, too, adopted a smug I knew it all along expression. But I remained unfazed. Speaking of fortunate, Tiffany, darling, where's your uber-wealthy brother tonight? The one who was supposed to grace us with his presence? The one you promised to introduce us to? Lily, sensing blood in the water, joined the attack. Yeah, Tiffany, where is he? Or, does he even exist? Tiffany's carefully constructed facade faltered. He's coming. He's just, held up. Very busy, you know. High-powered executive and all that. Just then, a figure emerged from the crowd, heading in our direction. Alexander Ning. His commanding presence instantly drew all eyes. He was talking to his assistant, seemingly oblivious to our little drama, clearly intending to leave. Isn't that Alexander Ning? From Modern Group? The business tycoon, someone whispered, awestruck. He's, like, a legend. Modern Group, someone else echoed, their voice hushed with reverence. Yeah, Modern Group is, like, one of the biggest corporations in Asia. He's ridiculously powerful. Sophia, ever the opportunist, suddenly transformed into Tiffany's biggest fan. Tiffany, is that your brother? Alexander Ning? Just a shared surname. That was all it took. These people were truly something else. Tiffany, predictably, didn't deny it. A triumphant smirk bloomed on her face. Seeing my feigned surprise, she preened. My brother is a very busy man, as I said. He's in high demand. But he's promised to treat everyone to dinner soon. Well, almost everyone, she added, pointedly glancing in my direction. Ethan, beside her, squeezed her hand possessively. Jackpot, he must have been thinking. Is that so? I said, my voice deceptively sweet. Then, I raised my voice, calling out across the deck. Uncle Ning. Over here. Could you spare a moment? A collective gasp rippled through the group. Did she just call him Uncle Ning? Alexander Ning paused, his gaze sweeping over us. He changed direction, walking towards us with an unhurried, confident stride. I hurried forward, slipping my arm through his. Uncle Ning, fancy meeting you here. Imagine my surprise when I realized my roommate is your sister. I looked up at him, batting my eyelashes innocently. His eyes, dark and knowing, met mine, and a flicker of amusement danced within their depths. He understood. Instantly. Sister, he echoed, his voice laced with a hint of steel. Ethan, ever the social climber, stepped forward, extending his hand to Alexander Ning. Mr. Ning, it's an honor to finally meet you. I'm Ethan, Tiffany's. No need for introductions, Alexander Ning cut him off, his tone clipped and dismissive. I'm merely here to clarify something. I do not have any sisters. Certainly. Not one I'm aware of. A beat of silence hung in the air, heavy with unspoken implications. The collected jaws of my classmates seemed to drop in unison. Wait, what? Someone stammered. But. Tiffany said. Alexander Ning's gaze softened as he turned to me, his demeanor transforming from icy businessman to something warmer, almost paternal. Olivia is family. If I were to have a sister, it would be her. My family has known the Chiaos for generations. Tiffany's face had drained of all color, her carefully constructed facade crumbling into dust. Her eyes, wide and panicked, darted towards me, then back to Alexander Ning, then back to me again. Alexander Ning smiled, a devastatingly charming smile that sent a ripple of swoons through the female contingent of my classmates. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a prior engagement. Olivia, I'll WeChat you later. He turned and strode away, leaving a stunned silence in his wake. Ethan, pale and trembling, finally found his voice, his gaze fixed on me. Olivia, you. I didn't even glance at him. My mission here was accomplished. TSK, turns out the shameless one is Tiffany herself. It was all your guesses, though. I never said my brother was Alexander Ning. You guys jumped to conclusions. Tiffany's anger erupted, spraying outwards at the bewildered onlookers. A murmur of complaint rippled through the small crowd. What's that supposed to mean? If it wasn't true, why didn't you correct us? You deliberately let us misunderstand, didn't you? Seriously, talk about being speechless. It's speechless to the power of speechless. Others chimed in, echoing the sentiment. Exactly. Pure vanity. Vanity? What are you talking about? My dad's a millionaire back home. And my brother's a senior executive here at Golden Crest. Tiffany's voice, though still sharp, had lost its initial arrogance, a tremor of panic creeping in. Olivia, even if you are from the Ning family, no need to act so high and mighty. My background is just as good as yours. Oh, was my only, dismissive reply. The next moment, Tiffany's real brother arrived. Or so she thought. Clutching at this straw of hope, Tiffany cried out, Brother! Over here! The classmates, a mix of skepticism and morbid curiosity, turned to follow her gaze. A man in a suit and tie, earpiece microphone clipped to his ear, approached. I glanced over. I knew this guy. Very well. Manager Song, the Platinum Grand Hotel's lobby manager. The manager Song. Manager Song, initially waving to Tiffany, caught sight of me. His face instantly transformed, his professional smile widening into a look of genuine deference. He bowed deeply, respectfully. Miss Chiao. What a pleasant surprise. What brings you here tonight? Invisible question marks seemed to materialize above everyone's heads. I'm here for the Platinum Grand Gala, I stated simply. Manager Song beamed. Then you're our honored guest. Please, allow me to assist you. May I take your bag? It must be heavy. I couldn't help but smile, a slow, deliberate curve of my lips. Under the collective, bewildered stares, I casually handed him my Hermes. If you insist. Thank you, Manager Song. Only then did Manager Song turn to Tiffany, a polite, slightly confused expression on his face. Turning back to me, he asked, You know my cousin, Miss Tiffany? He carefully used the word cousin, a subtle but significant correction. Lily, seizing the moment, piped up, Cousin? Oh, you mean your sister, who just accused Olivia of shamelessly crashing this event? As her brother, shouldn't you perhaps educate her on proper etiquette? Manager Song's eyes widened in alarm. Really? Did she actually say that? Sophia, ever the opportunist, chimed in. Oh, she said much worse. Luckily, I recorded it all. Sophia, bless her little heart, produced her phone and played the recording, the incriminating words echoing through the suddenly silent space. Never been to a place like this before, have you? It's understandable, I suppose. Manager Song's affable demeanor vanished, replaced by a mask of mortification. Turning to me, he bowed again, even deeper this time. Miss Chiao, please accept my sincerest apologies for my cousin's ignorance. She clearly doesn't understand the boundaries of polite society. I beg you, please forgive her childish behavior. I will personally ensure she understands the gravity of her misstep. He stressed the word cousin again, just in case anyone missed it the first time. Cousin, he reiterated, emphasizing the word as if it held the weight of the world. Please forgive her, she is young and foolish. Fine, I conceded, my voice cool and dismissive. Just make sure she learns some manners. Absolutely, Miss Chiao. Immediately. Manager Song's relief was palpable. Only then did Tiffany find her voice, her tone a desperate, bewildered whine. Brother, are you seriously doing this? Is she your sugar mama or something? Tiffany, shut your mouth. Miss Chiao is the esteemed daughter of the Golden Crest Group. This Platinum Grand Hotel? Her family owns it. She has every right to be here. You, on the other hand. Everything you've said and done is utterly appalling. You're embarrassing me. And, Manager Song added, his voice hardening, Miss Chiao, in her immense generosity, allowed you to host your little birthday gathering here. She could have had you thrown out without a second thought. Show some gratitude, for once in your life. The revelation that I owned the hotel sent shockwaves through the assembled classmates. Their faces shifted, morphing from amusement to stunned disbelief, then to something akin to fear. I offered a small, almost pitying smile to Tiffany. So, Tiffany, now you know. Have I been here before? Perhaps you should have done your research. Then, just to twist the knife a little further, I added, oh, and about earning money here. You were actually right, in a way. Most of the money you're spending on this lavish party? It's all going straight into my family's pockets. So, thank you for your contribution. It's appreciated. Humiliated beyond words, Tiffany grabbed Ethan's hand and spun around, heels clicking sharply against the marble floor. The stiletto heels, once symbols of her supposed sophistication, now echoed her frantic retreat. Ethan, glancing back repeatedly, wore a mask of excruciating embarrassment, his mouth opening and closing as if trying to form words that refused to come. A truly pathetic sight. I, however, pretended not to notice, listening with detached amusement to Manager Song's profuse apologies. Internally, I began to count. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3. A perfectly poised hostess, radiating professional charm, stepped forward, intercepting Tiffany and Ethan. Excuse me, madam, sir. This is the VIP elevator access. Elevators for general guests are located on the other side of the lobby. Discrimination. Tiffany shrieked, her voice cracking. Are you saying elevators are now segregated by social class? Manager Song, practically sprinting to catch up, hissed, his voice tight with suppressed fury, just stop making things worse. This elevator is not for you. I strolled over, casually observing the escalating meltdown. Tiffany, face contorted with rage, dragged a clearly mortified Ethan in the opposite direction, towards the commoner elevators. The hostess, turning to me, offered a radiant, welcoming smile. Miss Chiao, please, this way. Turning to the remaining classmates, I gestured towards the VIP elevator bank. Everyone, please, join me. More space, less crowded, much faster than the public elevators. But... Tiffany, someone stammered, glancing back at the retreating figure. Don't worry about them, I said, a hint of steel entering my voice. This invitation does not extend to everyone. I clarified, a cool smile playing on my lips, not to them. They are not worthy. With the exception of Sophia, ever loyal to the sinking ship, the rest of the group surged towards the VIP elevators, a chorus of delighted murmurs rising in their wake. "Thank you, Olivia. Olivia, you're amazing. Olivia, you're the best." The accolades rained down, a sweet balm to my bruised ego. Reaching the grand lobby, I turned to face the students who had so recently been fawning over Tiffany. "Everyone," I announced, my voice clear and carrying, "I've arranged for a small parting gift for each of you. And please, do consider Platinum Grand Hotel for your future events. We'd be delighted to host you again." A wave of sheepishness washed over their faces. Manager Song, with a practiced efficiency, oversaw the distribution of the gift bags. Just then, Tiffany, Ethan, and Sophia emerged from the public elevators, their faces stormy. Lily leaned in, whispering in my ear, "Observe, Olivia, the subtle shifts in power dynamics. Note the strategic hand withdrawal of the disgraced prince. The fallen queen is now walking alone. I'd pay good money to interview Ethan right now. Imagine the regret." I sauntered towards the hotel entrance. Waiting for me, gleaming under the porte-cochere lights, was my pristine white Rolls-Royce, chauffeured to the front by a valet. But I paused, a mischievous idea sparking in my mind. Why rush? Let them stew a little longer. Let the drama unfold. Sophia, emerging from the hotel doors and spotting the Rolls-Royce, gasped. "Wow. A Rolls-Royce. See, guys? I told you Tiffany's dad was loaded. He really did get her a Rolls-Royce." The classmates, their earlier scorn momentarily forgotten, exchanged envious glances. Perhaps, after all, Tiffany wasn't entirely a fraud. Maybe her family did have money, even if she was a bit embellishing things. Tied to the Rolls-Royce's side mirrors were two wine-red silk ribbons, a detail I'd overlooked when I'd taken delivery of the car, never bothering to remove them. Under the spotlights, the car shimmered, an opulent beacon. Tiffany, seizing this unexpected opportunity, turned to the group, her chin lifting, regaining a semblance of her former hauteur. "I was planning to take you all for drives sometime. But, well, some people just aren't worthy of riding in my car. Sophia, Ethan, let's go." Sophia, beaming, practically skipped towards the car. "Yes." Then, Tiffany, with a dramatic flourish, tossed an imaginary key to Ethan. "Ethan, darling, you drive. Sophia's not comfortable behind the wheel of a car like this." Ethan, a flicker of renewed hope in his eyes, actually smiled, a smug, triumphant grin spreading across his face. "Sure, Tiffany. Keys?" Tiffany patted her pockets, then frowned. "Keys, must be in the car already, I guess." She reached for the Rolls-Royce door handle, tugging sharply. "Nothing." She tried again, yanking harder. Still locked. I strolled closer, a gentle smile gracing my lips. "You can stop pulling, Tiffany. It's not going to open. It's my car, remember?" And, I added, my voice laced with mock concern, "if you damage it, I doubt you could afford the repairs." Ethan spun around, his face contorted in disbelief. "Olivia, this car? This is yours too?" The classmates' heads swiveled back and forth between Tiffany and me, their eyes wide with dawning comprehension. "Wait, this Rolls-Royce? It's Olivia's?" I dangled the car keys from my fingers, a small, tinkling sound in the suddenly hushed air. "Any other questions?" Lily, enjoying the spectacle immensely, chimed in, "Didn't you guys notice? Olivia drove us here in this very car. Where have you been?" Another wave of realization washed over the group. The pieces were finally falling into place. The high-end dress, the Hermes bag, the VIP treatment at the hotel, the Rolls-Royce, it all made sense now. "I knew it," someone exclaimed. "No way someone as dishonest as Tiffany could actually own a Rolls-Royce. And that whole taking us for a ride thing, when it's not even her car," someone else muttered, shaking their head in disbelief. Tiffany, visibly crumbling, her carefully constructed lies collapsing around her, stammered, her voice trembling. But my dad, he did say he bought me a Rolls-Royce." I nodded, a picture of understanding. "Of course, Tiffany. We all understand. Your other Rolls-Royce. The one back home. The one you didn't bring because you wanted to be low-key. Lily snorted, barely suppressing a laugh. "Oh yes, that Rolls-Royce. we totally get it, Tiffany. The sarcasm dripped from her voice. Several classmates were openly struggling to contain their laughter, their faces flushed, shoulders shaking. Just then, a delivery driver in a bright yellow uniform approached, pushing a small, white scooter. "Excuse me, is there a Miss Tiffany Ning here?" Tiffany, a flicker of desperate hope in her eyes, perked up. "Yes, that's me." "Great. Delivery for you. Please sign here and come to the curb to collect your vehicle. Hotel policy, you know, can't bring vehicles inside." Sophia, ever the eager beaver, piped up, "Is it the Rolls-Royce? Is it here?" The delivery guy looked at her, then back at Tiffany, a bewildered expression on his face. "Rolls-Royce? Lady, are you serious? This is a white electric scooter. Delivery fee is COD, 80 yuan. Cash, WeChat, Alipay?" The dam finally broke. Laughter erupted, loud, unrestrained, echoing through the hotel entrance. People were clutching their sides, tears streaming down their faces. Tiffany, her face now a fiery red, stood frozen, a statue of mortified rage. She had become the punchline of the century. "This has to be the most epic Rolls-Royce fail in history," someone choked out between gasps of laughter. "Tiffany Ning has just redefined the meaning of delusional," another student managed to gasp. "I'm going to die of laughter. I've been holding it in all night." Amidst the cacophony of mirth, Ethan, his face a study in shame, approached me, his voice barely a whisper. "Olivia, was that gala invitation you were going to give me, for the Platinum Grand Gala?" "Yes, Ethan. It was. But it's been torn to shreds now. And trust me, you'll never see one again." He lunged forward, blocking my path, desperation etched on his features. "Olivia, please, can we talk? Just for a minute?" I raised my hand, my palm connecting with his cheek in a sharp, resounding slap. His head snapped back, his eyes widening in shock. "You? Talk to me? You are beneath contempt. Get out of my sight." Lily, ever the loyal wing woman, stepped in, her voice dripping with scorn. "You cheating, pathetic excuse for a man. Don't you dare touch Olivia again. Go get on your girlfriend's scooter, the electric one, and ride off into the sunset, you loser." Another wave of laughter rippled through the crowd. I opened the Rolls-Royce door, slid into the plush leather seat, Lily and Sophia following close behind. With a smooth, almost silent glide, we pulled away, leaving Tiffany, Ethan, and the wreckage of their shattered illusions in our rearview mirror. Back at the dorm, word had spread like wildfire. Olivia Chow had become a legend. The class group chat had transformed overnight. Lily, ever the instigator, typed, "Everyone, did you all have fun tonight? Fun? It was epic. And we got VIP gift bags from Platinum Grand." Sophia, still clinging to the old narrative, chimed in. "What gift bags?" "You know, after we left Tiffany's party, Olivia asked Manager Song to give everyone VIP gift bags. Silk scarves, fancy mugs, and a Lancome skincare set, Platinum Grand co-branded edition. Score. Tiffany's birthday party gifts paled in comparison. Hers had been a cheap, performative display. Mine were genuine, generous, and effortlessly chic. And, more importantly, they were free for me to give. Pocket change, really. Sophia, OMG. Seriously? I missed out? Yep. Shouldn't have stuck with the loser squad. Major FOMO moment for you, Sophia. Ever since I'd returned to the dorm, Tiffany had remained barricaded behind her curtains, a silent, sulking presence. Evidently, shame was not entirely absent from her emotional repertoire. I raised my voice, just loud enough to carry to her bunk. "Sophia, if you're feeling left out, I might still have a spare gift bag. Want one?" Sophia, her voice laced with eagerness, responded, "Could I? Really? I'd love one." A strangled cry erupted from behind the curtains. "Sophia. No." Sophia quickly backtracked, her enthusiasm evaporating. "Oh, no, it's okay, Olivia. Don't worry about it. Really." Whether Sophia got a gift bag or not was irrelevant. The real point was Tiffany's reaction. And on that front, mission accomplished. The group chat continued to buzz with newfound appreciation. Actually, Olivia is pretty cool, isn't she? Just a bit, reserved at first, maybe? But totally awesome once you get to know her. Yeah, Olivia, sorry for misjudging you. We were totally wrong about you. Some people cough, Tiffany said some things. We were biased, totally our fault. You're actually super down-to-earth and amazing. Can we be friends? Please? Then, I casually dropped a screenshot into the chat, Tiffany's earlier, spectacularly tone-deaf proclamation of Mistress Pride. A beat of silence, then, detonation. Moments later, I deleted the message with a faux innocent, oops, sorry. Wrong chat. My bad. Too late. The damage was done. The online mob had been unleashed. Tiffany is actually sick. Bragging about being a homewrecker? Seriously, I loathe mistresses with every fiber of my being. Disgusting. Olivia, don't worry. Next time I see her, I'm going to rip her a new one for you. The online pitchforks were out, torches lit. The tide had turned. Public opinion, fickle and ferocious, had swung decisively in my favor. My phone buzzed with WeChat friend requests. Ethan. Again. I ignored them. Then, a message, Olivia, there's been a misunderstanding between us. Can we please meet? I need to explain. Annoyed, I finally accepted his friend request. Intending to immediately block him. The next second, a voice call came through. Ethan. Persistent little pest. I almost declined, then a thought struck me. I answered, switching the speakerphone on. Let the dorm room be my witness. Let Tiffany be my audience. Ethan's voice, laced with desperate urgency, filled the room. Olivia. Thank God you answered. It's all a misunderstanding. I shouldn't have listened to Tiffany. She totally twisted everything. Oh, really? Isn't she your true love now? I drawled, my voice dripping with sarcasm. No. Absolutely not. I was temporarily insane. I fell for her lies. Rich or poor, you're still the most amazing girl I know. It was all my fault, Olivia. I messed up. Sorry, Ethan. I don't recycle trash. Someone like you just makes me want to vomit. I hung up, the dial tone a satisfying punctuation mark. Behind me, a series of muffled thuds and crashes erupted from behind Tiffany's curtained bunk. The sound of a queen dethroned, a fantasy shattered. Did they think it was over? That the scandal would fade, the whispers would die down, and life would return to normal? Hardly. The next day, Tiffany Ning, serial liar and mistress apologist, became a viral sensation on the campus forum. Sophia, bless her organizational skills, had created a meticulously detailed, hilarious face-slapping guide, charting Tiffany's every lie and public humiliation. The title, shocking. If you don't read this face-slapping guide, I will personally be offended, okay? My alias, the unassuming Olivia Chiao. Tiffany's full name, however, was front and center, plastered across the digital pages. 2 counts of public shaming, mistress bragging, and pathological lying. Ethan, naturally, featured prominently as the hapless, two-timing fool. The guide meticulously documented Tiffany's every past slight and petty insult directed at me, each entry accompanied by a side-by-side comparison of her boastful claims and the brutal reality. The effect was devastatingly comical. How can anyone be this delusional? Tiffany Ning is a walking, talking meme factory. Every word, every action, is pure comedy gold. Seriously, I feel bad for Olivia. This Tiffany girl is like a walking, talking train wreck. Her lies are layered like an onion, only instead of making you cry, they make you laugh until you cry. The face-slapping is glorious. Absolutely glorious. 5 stars. Would read again. Then, out of the digital woodwork, emerged a contingent of my former high school classmates. Recognizing me from the thinly veiled Olivia Chiao moniker, they chimed in with their own testimonials. Seriously, while Tiffany's downfall is hilarious, I actually feel bad for Olivia. We went to high school together. She's loaded, but incredibly low-key. Twice, when classmates were seriously ill and in the ICU, Olivia quietly donated over $1,000,000 each time, saving their lives. Yeah, and Olivia was a top student too. It's so unfair she had to deal with this psycho roommate. Poor Olivia. High school classmate here. We weren't close, but Olivia always shared the imported snacks and fruit she brought from home with everyone. Team Olivia. And, of course, the inevitable bashing contingent. And that loser Ethan. He's both and. A double whammy of patheticness. Marrying into poverty is worse than being poor yourself. Congrats to Olivia for dumping that trash-tier gold digger. Ethan was in my year. Funny story, my family owns a jewelry store. I spotted that fake Cartier watch Tiffany gave him instantly. He even wore it with a short-sleeved shirt in freezing weather to show it off. My dorm mates and I were dying of laughter. Online, Tiffany and Ethan's carefully constructed facades crumbled, their dirty laundry aired for the entire campus to see. Tiffany had, in a twisted way, achieved her ambition of being the center of attention. Ethan, too, had gained notoriety, though not quite the connections he'd envisioned. Their moment in the spotlight, a spectacle of shame and ridicule. As they wished, perhaps? I treated myself to a long afternoon nap, a reward for a battle well fought. Waking up, I checked my phone. The friend group chat and class group chat were exploding again. Olivia. Olivia. Have you seen Tiffany's latest masterpiece of self-destruction? You mean the forum thread? Yeah, saw it. No, this is even better. Her dad came to school today to yell at the dean. Oh? Back for more? Trying to defend his precious daughter's honor? Intriguing. I vaguely remembered Tiffany's earlier claim about her father being a millionaire back home. Bring it on. My dad knew half the university board. A phone call was all it would take. Nope. Not defending her. Turns out, all that high-rolling lifestyle she's been living? It was all built on stolen lottery money. Her dad won 3 million yuan before she started college. He put it in the bank for emergencies, but Tiffany secretly drained the account and blew it all. Wait, what? The plot thickened. This was getting even more absurdly hilarious. I could only imagine Ethan's face right now. He thought he'd struck gold, only to discover he'd hitched his wagon to a petty thief. You know what her dad said to her? My friend, who's a student government official, overheard the whole thing. She was practically in tears, trying not to laugh. Lily launched into a dramatic impersonation, her voice mimicking a furious, rural accent. 3 million yuan, and you've squandered it all, down to 10 measly yuan. And now you want more? We're relying on that 10 yuan for groceries. You're forcing me to sell my kidney to buy you a Rolls-Royce? A Rolls-Royce. You're delusional. Even if I sold both kidneys, I couldn't afford that monstrosity. If you weren't my daughter, I'd have you arrested for theft. I could only offer one response. I thought it couldn't get any more ridiculous. I was wrong. Predictably, this latest bombshell landed directly in the Tiffany Ning face-slapping guide, fueling another wave of online outrage and amusement. Poor Mr. Ning, indeed. He deserved a medal for parenting under such challenging circumstances. Tiffany Ning, the self-proclaimed princess, had been exposed as a common thief, her crown revealed to be made of fool's gold, her kingdom built on stolen funds. The architects of their own downfall, Tiffany and Ethan, had become cautionary tales, their names synonymous with delusion, vanity, and spectacular public humiliation. The internet, that great leveler, had delivered its final, crushing verdict. I started packing, preparing to move out. This dorm room, once a neutral space, now felt tainted, contaminated by Tiffany's toxic presence. As I was gathering my belongings, the dorm room door slammed open with violent force. Tiffany stood there, eyes blazing, glaring at me. Olivia Chow. Are you happy now? Is this what you wanted? To destroy my life? Oh, utterly, I replied, my voice calm, almost cheerful. Her face contorted, a mask of raw fury. Are you satisfied now? Let me see, am I satisfied? Yes, Tiffany, actually, I am. Immensely. She sputtered, her words tumbling out in a jumbled rush. But you cyberbullied me. You're in the wrong. Cyberbullying? Please. I simply held a mirror up to your own behavior. And besides, darling, I didn't need to lift a finger. You had plenty of willing accomplices in your public self-immolation. The internet is a powerful tool, isn't it? I smiled, a slow, predatory curve of my lips. You know, Tiffany, I initially ignored you because I genuinely believed you were beneath my notice. Engaging with you felt déclassé. But you, my dear, you just couldn't resist pushing, could you? You just kept escalating, day after day, insult after insult. I took a step closer, my gaze unwavering. Tiffany instinctively recoiled, backing away. Your father, Tiffany. Your long-suffering father, who somehow managed to track you down at this vast university, during a pandemic, and find the dean's office. Do you really think that was just coincidence? Frankly, I had no idea how Mr. Ning had located her so efficiently, but Tiffany's widening eyes suggested I'd struck a nerve. You, she stammered, her voice barely a whisper. Remember this, Tiffany. If I wanted to truly destroy you, a few forum posts would be the least of your worries. Do you really want to test that theory? Understanding finally dawned in her eyes. Her bravado crumbled, replaced by a desperate, pleading look. Please, Olivia, please stop. I'm begging you. I was wrong. I admit it. I shouldn't have spread those rumors about you. I shouldn't have. Please, Olivia, what do you want me to do? How can I make this stop? Just then, Sophia walked into the room. Ignoring Tiffany's tearful pleas, she plastered on a sickly sweet, sycophantic smile and rushed to my side. Oh, Olivia. You're moving out already? So soon? I didn't even get a chance to properly apologize for, you know. I offered a curt nod, barely acknowledging her presence. This particular brand of opportunist held little appeal. Sophia pressed on, undeterred. Need help with your luggage? I can totally rally some friends. We'd be happy to help. No need, I said, my voice cool and dismissive. My father is sending professionals. Tiffany, attempting to salvage something, anything, from the wreckage, straightened her spine, a flicker of her old arrogance returning. Sophia, darling, where's that takeout I asked you to get me? Sophia, without even glancing at Tiffany, rolled her eyes, a gesture of utter contempt. Get it yourself, Tiffany. I'm not your personal servant. Not anymore. Tiffany's jaw dropped. Sophia. What is wrong with you? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you, Tiffany? I'm done being your doormat. Done with your lies, your drama, your everything. After these past 2 years, associating with you is a social liability. People might start throwing rotten tomatoes at me just for being seen with you. Tiffany gasped. You ungrateful, gold-digging, peasant. You have no right to talk to me like that. Sophia laughed, a harsh, mocking sound. Oh, and you, Tiffany? You're the real peasant here. Your dad's not some millionaire tycoon. He's a lottery winner who got robbed blind by his spoiled brat of a daughter. And now you've dragged me down with you. I'm done. As the two former besties descended into a screaming match, claws out, ready to tear each other apart, I quietly slipped out of the dorm room, leaving them to their mutually assured destruction. Let them have their moment. The stage was theirs. The following afternoon, my belongings were efficiently packed and removed from the dorm room. Alexander Ning arrived personally to escort me to lunch. Ever since his unexpected Uncle Ning intervention at the Platinum Grand, our relationship had shifted. He'd become a constant presence in my life, a frequent WeChat correspondent, a surprisingly attentive listener. The elder statesman facade had crumbled, revealing a man who was genuinely interested in my thoughts, my feelings, me. I'd realized my initial perception of him, filtered through a respect for elders lens, had been woefully inadequate. He was patient, witty, insightful, and devastatingly charming, with none of the stuffy uncle vibe I'd initially projected onto him. Almost ready, Uncle Ning. Just a few more minutes. I texted, my fingers flying across the screen. No rush, Olivia. Take your time, he replied instantly. As I stepped out of the dorm building, I froze. Ethan, unshaven, disheveled, and radiating an aura of desperate clinginess, materialized before me. I've been waiting here all night, Olivia, he announced, his voice hoarse. I didn't even make eye contact. This man was a master of self-pity, a champion of unwarranted martyrdom. Olivia, please, I know I messed up. I was blinded by Tiffany's everything. Can you ever forgive me? Forgive you? For being a shallow, opportunistic social climber? Is that what you're asking? He plowed on, undeterred, following me as I walked towards the campus gates, a pathetic, whiny drone in my ear. Alexander Ning, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, radiating an aura of quiet power, emerged from his car. His cool, assessing gaze, initially distant, softened as he saw me, a warm smile lighting up his features. Olivia, he greeted me, his voice a low, resonant rumble. My spirits lifted instantly. I walked towards him, a genuine smile replacing the weary cynicism of the past few weeks. Without thinking, I reached out, taking his offered hand. His warm, firm grasp enveloped mine. Ethan, trailing behind, stopped dead in his tracks, his face draining of all color as he registered the intimate gesture. What is going on?" he stammered, his voice barely audible. "What is this?" "None of your business, Ethan," Alexander Ning replied, his voice now hard, glacial. He tightened his grip on my hand, drawing me closer. Then, with a swift, decisive movement, he reached out, grabbing Ethan by the collar of his cheap jacket. "This is a warning, Ethan," Alexander Ning said, his voice low and menacing. "This young woman is precious to me. She's far too good for the likes of you. How dare you cause her any distress?" Then, with a dismissive shove, Alexander Ning released him. He gestured to his burly bodyguard, who stepped forward, delivering a swift, brutal punch to Ethan's jaw. Ethan crumpled to the ground, a whimpering heap of bruised ego and shattered dreams. The bodyguard, towering over him, delivered a final, chilling pronouncement. "Stay away from Miss Chow. You're not even worthy to lick her boots. Now get lost, before things get unpleasant." I slid into Alexander Ning's car, the scent of leather and expensive cologne filling my senses. The door closed with a soft, reassuring thud, shutting out the chaos and drama of the past few weeks. Alexander Ning, still holding my hand, turned to me, a teasing glint in his eyes. "Shy, Olivia?" "No," I protested, my cheeks flushing. "Just surprised." Flustered, I quickly changed the subject. "Tiffany's dad, he actually came to school to yell at her." Alexander Ning nodded, a knowing smile playing on his lips. "Yes, I heard. A rather spirited intervention, shall we say?" "You knew?" A sudden realization dawned on me. "Uncle Ning, did you have something to do with that?" "Perhaps," he conceded, a hint of mischief in his eyes. "But let's just say, I merely facilitated a long overdue family reunion. The father was very keen to reconnect with his daughter, wouldn't you agree?" I laughed, a genuine, unrestrained laugh that bubbled up from deep within. "You are amazing." He reached out, gently ruffling my hair, his touch surprisingly tender. "When it comes to those who cause you harm, Olivia," he said, his voice low and serious, "I don't play nice." The aftermath was a whirlwind of whispers and rumors. Ethan, disgraced and unemployable in a city, thanks to a few well-placed words from my father, packed his bags and slunk back to his hometown, leaving behind a trail of shattered egos and broken promises. He reportedly smashed Tiffany's fake Cartier watch in a final, performative act of self-pity before his ignominious departure. Tiffany, now a campus pariah, became a recluse, hiding in her dorm room, the forum threads her constant tormentors. Her desperate attempt to transfer departments was swiftly denied, her academic record a testament to her lack of focus. 2 weeks later, overwhelmed by the relentless online shaming and the icy ostracism of her former classmates, she, too, packed her bags and withdrew from the university, a disgraced queen fleeing her crumbling kingdom. The drama, finally, was over. Life, for me, continued. Although surrounded by a new wave of sycophants, I remained aloof, guarded, determined to forge my own path. To define myself by my own merits, not by the reflected glory of my family's wealth or the fleeting validation of social media. Olivia Chow, on her own terms. On my birthday, weeks later, as I leaned over the candlelit cake, making my silent wish, my gaze drifted towards the man seated on the sofa across the room. Alexander Ning. A ghost of a smile touched my lips. Later, on the secluded terrace of his villa, under a starlit sky, he turned to me, his voice low and intimate. "What was your birthday wish, Olivia?" Tell me. It's a secret, I demurred, a playful smile dancing on my lips. Tell you, and it won't come true. He chuckled, his dark eyes holding mine. Perhaps. Or perhaps, if you tell me, I can help make it happen. Okay, fine, I relented, taking a deep breath. I wished for a handsome, mature, kind, and utterly wonderful boyfriend. Not entirely true. My actual wish, unspoken, burning in my heart, had been simpler, more direct. I wished for Alexander Ning to be my boyfriend. He stepped closer, his presence radiating warmth and quiet strength. And what about Uncle Ning? Does he fit the bill? My heart skipped a beat, then another. I looked up at him, my eyes wide, breath catching in my throat. I nodded, a small, shy movement. He smiled, a slow, mesmerizing smile that reached his eyes. He reached out, drawing me into his arms, his hand cupping my cheek, his gaze tender, possessive. Then, he lowered his head, his lips brushing against mine in a soft, lingering kiss. Just a nod, Olivia? No words? Yes, I whispered, my voice barely audible. Yes, Uncle Ning. Yes, please. The end.